Well, hello there, YouTube. How you doing? It's yours truly, the Holy Smoking Pie Padre, and I'm just sitting here this evening, just enjoying a beautiful summer evening. It's absolutely gorgeous out here. It's probably in the low 70s. For this time of year, that's incredible. I think there's such thing as global cooling. Okay, well, I'm just sitting here. Got a little update here. Let's see, smoking a nondescript briar. But I am smoking something very interesting for the first time. I'm using Softy Bits. And I have to say, I think I like the Softy Bits. The reason being is I tend to chew on my stems, and I think when you have got a fly been pestering me all afternoon. I think I like Softy Bits. I know some people don't really care for them. Some people are kind of ambivalent about them. I started using them today, and I have to say, they're not. I think I like them. Okay. So why am I making this video? Well, I'm sitting here and I'm waiting. I'm waiting for OS X Lion to supposedly be available for download. So that's why I'm sitting here. I'm just kind of waiting. It's 8:30 at night. The rumor was they were going to be starting downloading in UK at 1 o'clock their time. I've been waiting, checking the news to see if that is in fact the truth. Because if they are downloading in Europe first, then 9 hours later, whenever they release there, the chances are we'll be having it, here. So anyway, that's why I'm just sitting here, kind of just doing one of these numbers, and I thought I'd just relax with a pipe. And just smoking a little sunset breeze in honor of our friend, you-know-who in the UK. Anyway, I just watched Jay's recent video. And I just wanted to comment. A lot of times I don't really... Well, I try to... I have my own ways of entering into the YouTube pipe community conversations, as you've noticed. Usually in kind of a tongue-in-cheek manner. And... but I just thought I'd just do this one kind of, if you will, just a la natural. Well, not that natural. Don't get excited. And don't get afraid. But he was talking about what kind of job titles, funny job titles, He talked about the funny ones, and he talked about, kind of serious ones. And I thought, amateur anesthesiologist. How would you like to get a card, from somebody and, you're an amateur anesthesiologist? Yeah, I practice on the weekends. Getting pretty good at it, too. I mean, that would generate a lot of confidence, wouldn't it? But Jay, you were talking about also wanting to be an author. You thought that would be kind of a cool thing to be as an author. Be able to say, I'm an author. And then you said, well, writing wasn't, I guess, your strong suit. Although I would, you have such a great imagination, such a fertile imagination. I don't know if spelling has anything to do with being a good author. But this is something I wanted to share because I think it might be very helpful, beneficial, maybe even encouraging to those people who are interested in writing. And I'm not saying claiming I'm a writer by any stretch of the imagination, but this came about 4 or 5 years ago, watching one of my all-time favorite video series, All Creatures Great and Small. And the gentleman who wrote that series, they called him James Harriet, but actually his name was Alfred White. And in one of the DVD sets that I have of All Creatures Great and Small, there's a wonderful, wonderful little documentary about Alfred White talking about writing and what it meant to, be the author of the James Harriet novels and stories. And what I found fascinating was the fact that, here's a guy obviously who was very, very intelligent and good writer, but what he said really intrigued me. He said that he had to learn to rewrite essentially those stories. He said he had like 2 or 3 different writing styles that, he thought, were the, quintessential, English novel writing styles. He tried to write like Macaulay. I think it's Macaulay's. There was a series, this is an author centuries ago, or at least 2 centuries ago, who wrote great, histories of England. I even think I even had a set of those. Not that I ever read them, but my brother gave them to me in hopes that I might, educate myself. If I ever find them again, I certainly will read them. But anyway, the fascinating thing was that he said that he really had to reinvent. He had to discover a unique writing style for those James Harriet books. And I think that when you stop and think about it, that's the case with everything. Somebody develops a certain style, but it's a style that has to tell the kind of stories you're trying to tell. So the thing is that, Jay, you clearly could be an author, providing, you write about things that you know about. Like that story you told, racing down from northern Michigan to southern Michigan and finding out that it's just a plug that needed to be plugged back into the wall. Good story. And you tell it well. I bet if you could develop a style, and I don't know what style that would be, but it'd be a style that is something that is certainly you, but it's a style that people are going to really either relate to and really enjoy reading. So, as an amateur anesthesiologist, I got a starter's kit last weekend, at a garage sale, so, came with some tubes and, stuff like that. Let's see, the other thing was famous people you've met. Well, famous people that I've met. Let's see, I actually had a photo op with Pat Buchanan, the Pat Buchanan. I hope that doesn't make some of you mad at me because of my politics. That was 20 years ago almost, though. 15, 16 years ago. There's a picture of me and Pat Buchanan. I was in my Roman collar, and he was giving a talk, and I happened to be there, and he said, "Oh, he wants to meet you after the talk," and I went, "Okay." So we talked for about 10 minutes. I was kind of hoping he was going to ask me to run as his VP, but he didn't. But Back then I had illusions of grandeur, you know. Amateur politician. Aren't they all that, though? Let's see. As a prison chaplain, I actually met quote-unquote famous or notorious people. I never knew this, but the guy was one of the Manson family guys. Bruce Allen Davis and Tex Watson. They saw them every day. In fact, Bruce Allen Davis, and I didn't know who he was at first, but he'd always come in and just sit down and talk with me. He just loved talking with me. I didn't know why. Later, I found out that he was part of the Manson family. I didn't know it when I worked there, but I just tried to treat inmates like individuals. One day, the Chowchilla kidnapper brothers came in. They were mad at me because I didn't give them a banquet, and I would say they were respectful, but they were angry. But they did it in a positive way. And I just told them, guys, I can't do it for you. They wanted me to bring in some contraband stuff and tried to masquerade it as part of the banquet food, and I said I can't do that. And anyway, so they were all upset and everything, and so they left. And my other inmate clerk, he was kind of like, I could tell he was really nervous. And after they left, he closed the door and he came to my desk and said, "Father, don't you know who those guys were?" And I said, "Should I?" He goes, "Those were the Chowchilla bus kidnapper guys, like I should have, gotten down and worshipped at their feet or something." I just said, "Well, I don't care." Again, Tex Watson was an ordained minister in the Protestant chapel right next door to my chapel. He was still an inmate, but he was an ordained minister. Anyway, so have I met quote unquote known people? Well, I guess. Fame is fleeting. Pipe Pops was talking about his grandkids don't even know who John Wayne is. And that's the case. My generation's a lot of the people that I think is like, wow. You ask a kid today, who's John Wayne or Gene Autry. Probably half of you don't even know who that is. Bob Hope, Jack Benny. Most people go, huh? So fame is very fleeting, Well, those are some of the little things I'm just musing over as I smoke this pipe here and get ready to see if OS 10 Lion is going to be released soon. I'll wait and see. But I kind of have a feeling that it ain't going to happen. But oh well, eventually it will, and then it'll fade into non-existence. It's like every other operating system, right? How many of you remember Windows 3.1? Can you say DOS? Anyway, well, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And we'll talk to you soon.